Sutra. Example, this Brahmajala Sutra. Brahma, Brahma is like they divas and divas, celestial beings. So jala, that means a net, like the net with many holes. And in this Brahma Jala is actually an analogy of a practice that he said that the world is like infinite. The world is infinite. It's just like the holes in the mat. And in each hole, there is a world in each hole of a net. You see? And in each, and it also says, for example, in a flower, like a chrysanthemum, in each petal, inside one petal of the chrysanthemum flower is a complete universe in one petal. Okay, so it's an analogy. So this is in this sutra, Brahmajala. There is no person. There is nothing talking about the Dharma. It's just an analogy. Okay. So it's being named because of its analogy or its simile. And the fourth category is talking about a person looking for a Dharma or a person seeking Dharma from the Buddha. For example, there is this sutra called Sutra of Prajna for the Benevolent King, where the Buddha was teaching the Dharma to 16 kings, benevolent kings. So the kings are people, and the Dharma is the Buddha is talking to the kings. So in here, some particular sutras are named because there's person and there's Dharma. And so it's named after these two things. Okay? Are you still with me? Sort of. Okay. All right. So then that's the fifth one is the name expresses a connection between a person and an object or event. For example, the Sutra of the Bodhisattva's necklace is talking. The Bodhisattva is a person. The necklace is a simile. It's an analogy. Okay, so the Sutra of this Bodhisattva necklace, that means that the ornamentals ornamental things that the Bodhisattva is wearing, in this case a necklace, is actually a transcendental adornment of a highly accomplished person, accomplished being, a spiritual being. So in this case, the necklace is an analogy, it's a simile. That means illustrating how much spirituality attainment this Bodhisattva has attained. Okay, in this sutra. I know it's very difficult for you to comprehend because this is actually a Mahayana way of categorizing a sutra, and it's very rarely being taught in the West in this sense. And I was talking to Eva last week. I said, I haven't found any people expounding this in English yet. So this so I need to do all this but no, I need to translate everything, and it's sort of like because I'm not a professional translator, right? Okay, so and then the sixth category is the sutra is named upon a combination of the Dharma being taught and its example, and the Heart Sutra is one of it, and also the Diamond Sutra or the Lotus Sutra. Okay, the Diamond Sutra is talking about the Dharma, which is emptiness. Okay, and its example is the diamond, like cutter. Okay, a very strong cutter. And this Heart Sutra, when we look at the title of Heart Sutra, you understand The Prajna Paramita is the Dharma, and the Hridaya is the heart. You see? So the Dharma and the heart. And so it's a combination of the Dharma being taught and also and its example. Right? So in this category, there's no person. Right? There's no person in here. And then the seventh category is the combinations of the teacher's name and the name of the Dharma taught, and then there is analogy. So F3 altogether: people, Dharma, and the analogy. So in here, yeah, we can have this Buddhi Avatamsaka. Remember, the first period is Avatamsaka. Remember? So Avatamsaka, that means talking about the Buddha land. The Buddha land, what it is like in the Buddha land. And so there is this Buddha, and there is this Buddha land, and then there is this analogy also. Okay. So here, so it's actually my cough is picking up this evening. So it is not easy to comprehend, but you don't need to remember this, but I want you to understand. So when in the future, when you look at a sutra name, then you know, this is named because there is such a person. So what is the 42 chapters named? Just by? No, 42 chapters. It's just the Dharma itself, right? Just the Dharma itself. Okay, there is no name, there's no analogy, right? So it's just the Dharma, 42 chapters of Dharma. And Amitabha Sutra, there is the person, Amitabha Buddha. What about the medicine Buddha? It's also just one person, just person. Okay? So Diamond Sutra is the Dharma and its analogy. And the Heart Sutra is the Dharma and its analogy. Oh, okay. Got it? Everybody got it? Ooh, Terry said, ooh, you were not here last week. That's why you so missed the introduction part. Okay, so now we come to this big thing. Ha ha. Dang dang. The Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. Okay, that is the this is a Sanskrit name. Okay, Sanskrit name. And if it is in a Pali term, then it will be Panya Paramita. Okay. And Chinta Sutra. So the Heart Sutra is actually the core of the 600 scrolls of the Prajna Paramita Sutra. The Prajna Paramita Sutra, that means the big wisdom sutra. Maha, that means big. Prajna Paramita, that means the wisdom. And it is actually the essence, the core teaching in this 600 scrolls of Prajna Paramita Sutra. So you can see how concentrate it is. And in the Chinese Heart Sutra, there are only 260 words. And you can find the whole teachings of the Buddha in these 260 words. I haven't counted the English. I should have counted the English. And you can see when you read through, or when we study, when we go through this, you can see the whole teachings of Buddha. Or I can say from the ancient teachings in the Theravadan tradition all the way to the Mahayana tradition is all encompassed, is all included in this really one sheet of paper. Okay, you can see how condensed it is. So last week we have we have talked about Master Xuanzang, right? We talked about him last week, and so you know how he actually. Oh, I'm sorry. You see, I don't want to press beautiful button.
Okay, I'll just take over.
Okay, next time. Yes, good thing that you've got that recording there. Oh, okay, all right. So we can see here it's not just the master Xinjiang, it's actually Tripitaka master. That means he is fluent in the three baskets of teachings. The first basket is the sutras, that means the original text of the Buddha Dhamma. And the second basket is the Vinaya, that means the rules, the precepts of the Buddha's teachings. And the third one is the commentary, the sastras, Sastras. That means the commentary. So there are the three baskets, or the three baskets of the canon, you can say. Okay. First basket is the sutras. Second basket is the Vinayas. That means the moralities, the silas, the precepts. The third basket is the sastras. That means the commentaries of the Buddha's teachings. Okay, so he's not just fluent in one basket or in one part of the canon. He's fluent in all, in actually the whole canon. All right. So as I said, the Heart Sutra actually is composed of the excerpts from this Prajna Paramita Sutra. And it is short but very profound, very deep and liberating. The Buddha taught when he was when he started to teach when he was 35 until he was 80, according to the Mahayana teachings in the 5 stages, as we have studied last week. So now in the Mahayana tradition, when we teach Mahayana tradition, or when I don't consider myself teaching, I consider myself sharing my knowledge of Mahayana tradition to you. But in the Mahayana tradition, a sutra, when we explain them, it should cover 5 aspects. Okay, so the first aspect is it should explain the terms, its terms, and its names. So the term of this sutra is called Prajna Paramita, right? And its name is named after the Prajna Paramita, the heart. Okay, and then the second thing it should cover is the definition of the substance. That means the content. What is the content? What does it what is the whole substance of this sutra? Guess. Huh? Vinaya. No. Vinaya. 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 Oh, Hridaya. That means the heart. I see. Okay. Okay. Very good. Yeah. It's the whole Heart Sutra is actually talking about emptiness. Okay. We will get there when we talk about emptiness. Emptiness is really not emptiness. Okay. I like this. Emptiness is really not emptiness. Okay. So the substance of this sutra is really talking about emptiness. Okay. All right. And then the third is the classification of the principles. What does it mean by the classification of the principles? That means the principles of this practice in this sutra. So what is this sutra actually teaches us or to reflect on? It actually teaches us to reflect on the truth of our own existence. And at the end, the result of this reflection is there is nothing to be attained. And it's so strange, she said, nothing to be attained. And now we are sitting here trying to calm this mind. and nothing to be attained. Because when you don't want to try to calm this mind, the mind doesn't get calmed. And you don't get calm because the mind doesn't get calmed. And so it's a vicious cycle, right? So when you're trying to do something, or when you're trying to calm this mind, and the mind cannot be calmed, and then you try further to calm this mind, and the mind gets more worked up. So it's a really, really vicious cycle. And of course, in this whole sutra, it's actually teaching us how to reflect on the principles of emptiness and how we can actually try to incorporate that principle into our daily living. Okay. So that's the classification of the principles. And then the fourth part we need to explain is the discussion of its applications. That means how we can actually apply that into our daily lives, and what does it do when we apply that to our daily lives. The fourth sentence of this is, and is saved from all suffering and distress. So that's the result. When you apply that to your life, or when you apply to help others, that means that you actually will be liberated from your own sufferings. And where do these sufferings come from? Because of all these hindrances, or we can call the poisons to the mind, or hindrances to our mind, is the greed, the adversity, the hatred, the ill will, anger, and then the ignorance, right? So if we can liberate ourselves from these three hindrances, then we'll be able to actually liberate ourselves from all the sufferings, because all sufferings come because of these three things, right? Okay, so the discussion, so explanation of Mahayana Sutra should actually discuss on this, how to apply that. And of course, the last one is how this to discern the doctrine. That means what's the fruit? What's the fruit of this application? So, what do you think? The 5 flavors. Which flavor? The ghee. Yeah, of course, the ghee. The matured curd, purified, clarified butter, right? Okay. Whew. Very good. It seems that only half an hour, really? Okay, now, so we go to the title. The title is called Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra. Have a quick look at the title. Okay, Prajna, that means wisdom. It's a Pali term, it's a Sanskrit term, and this is an intuitive, preverbal wisdom. It's not something that I can really say it out. I can explain, or we can put them into words. Or it is not a wisdom that you can really think about or create by your mind. It comes from practicing from an intuition, from this Buddha nature that we all possess, but it's only masked by all the hindrances. Okay. All right, this is the prajna. And the paramita, that means it's a perfection. And it can also mean it's transcendental or gone beyond. So at the end of this sutra is that gade gade para gade para sam gade. That means gone beyond this. Gone beyond where? Gone beyond this samsara. Gone beyond this cycles of birth, life and death, birth and death. Okay. So Hridaya, that means a heart or a mind. In the Chinese tradition, we always call the mind the heart. but in the English language, it's called the mind. So I would like to use heart mind. So yeah, I think it is actually is a better word. The heart, a lot of people would misunderstand it as the physical heart, but of course the physical heart, of course there is this physical heart. In order to be able to actually practice, we need to have this physical heart, and a part of the consciousness is actually is from this physical heart. Okay. um but whereas this mind is actually the really the real thing that we are talking about. Okay. So in order not to really mislead ourselves, I think I would use heart mind. So in the future you'll understand, you will know heart mind. Okay. Or um or you can call, is this the essence or the core of where this Prajna Paramita is? And then the sutra is the word spoken by the Buddha. Okay. So the whole title should really read, some of the scholars, they actually have a wonderful title. It's called The Great Heart of Perfect Wisdom. It's nice. Or The Heart of Great Transcendent Wisdom is also good. Okay. But in the oh, thank you. But in the Chinese tradition, we just call it the Heart Sutra. And this is a very popular, very, very important sutra, and it's being put in with music. If you go online and look for Heart Sutra in music, and you can hear a lot of pop stars actually sing this. So remember that we actually chanted this Heart Sutra at once with the BC festival, the first BC festival. Remember that? It was wonderful. Yeah, yeah. So very, very nice, nice sutra. Okay. All right. So before we go to this Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra, I'll come. We start from the back of the title. Okay. So the title, the sutra, is a Sanskrit name, and in the Pali words, it's called sutta. And sutra, also in the Mahayana tradition, carry five meanings. Huh? Yeah, they categorize everything. So, and it actually is a very, very nice explanation. It's very nice. And the sutra, that means it in above, it actually connects with all the teachings that the Buddha taught. And below is actually can be spread to among all sentient beings. So it reaches in all directions. Okay. So the first meaning of the word sutra, that means bring to life all the meaningful doctrines that the Buddha has taught. Okay. And that means the arising or the birth of all meaningful doctrines that the Buddha has taught about. And then the second meaning of the word sutra, it keeps flowing like a spa. It doesn't stop. It's like Harrison Hot Spring. Okay, it's just okay, but this is a hot spring. Okay, so it comes and comes and comes. So it will not stop. It hasn't stopped for 2,000 years, 2,600 years now in India, and it's only 2,100 years in China. So it's keep flowing like a spa, okay, like hot spring. And then the third meaning, it actually it show the meanings of the teachings from all angles. That means it can show all the meanings from all angles so that we can actually understand and practice. And when we read sutra, it gives us this insights if we understand when we when we read and when we chant. That's why in the Mahayana tradition there is a lot of chanting, a lot of recitation. That's why I want to get you folks into this habit of reciting. So it's nice to really start to recite the sutra before we actually start to expound and understand the sutra. Okay, so we every day we recite the Diamond Sutra here after meditation, and on our own we have a lot of recitation. Like I before I go to bed, I lie down and the Heart Sutra will come. I would just recite the Heart Sutra until I fall asleep. In the morning, I get up, then I go and meditate. After meditation, then I wash and everything. Then I would do prostrations. When I do prostrations, I would recite the Heart Sutra when I do prostrations. So I know how many, maybe about 49 prostrations when I finish the one Heart Sutra. So I'll finish. Sometimes I bow faster, or the Heart Sutra go faster, then I'll bow less. So it depends. Sometimes the body is not too good, so I bow slower. But the Heart Sutra go faster. So it depends. But we use the sutra to strengthen our practice, and sometimes I remember when my brother was very ill in 1995. Actually, I bow the Chinese version of the Kisilligabha Sutra, which was over 10,000 prostrations, because I do one bow with one Chinese word. So that's how we actually use the sutra to practice. So you can try that too. Okay, Avalokiteshvara, one bow, and then Bodhisattva, one bow. So you can do that. There will be a lot of bows here. There will be a lot of prostrations here. Or you can do one verse, one sentence and one prostration. And actually, you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. You'll be more focused when you're prostrating. And also, you will understand the sutra. You will connect with the sutra a lot. Try that. If you have time.
There's 24
24 words in the so maybe you can do one paragraph one day. Really, you already counted. Okay. 24 words. Okay. All right. Thank you. So the third is showing the meanings from all angles. Okay. So when we practice, we can start to see the meanings of a particular sutra more thoroughly. And then it is like an ink thread. I don't know whether when people doing a survey, you've got one of those thread. I don't know what you call it. A what? A plumb line?
Plumb line or snap line.
Snap, like snap or snap, snap. Oh, snap. Yeah. But in Chinese, it's called an ink line or ink thread. So when it's like a surveying thread, so it gives you what? Guidance, right? So if you follow it, you won't go too far off. You see? So that is now next time I know snap line, plumb line, PLUM
With a B.
with a B, or like plumbing. Plumb line. Okay.
It's actually called a chalk line.
Oh, sorry, you're all wrong. A chalk line, CHALK.
If it's covered in chalk,
That's why it's called snap line.
yeah.
But without the chalk, you cannot snap.
A plumb line is used to hang straight down.
You see? Thank you for having a technical person on board. A chalk line. You see, an ink thread is something like that. An ink line. Same thing, but ink line you cannot snap, right? A chalk line you can snap and leave a trail of chalk. Yeah, so that you can follow that chalk line, so you won't veer off. So so you so you'll be able to see clearly what is wholesome and what is unwholesome, and what is right to do and what is not right to do, what you should follow and what you should not follow, because there is a chalk line there. Okay, so in the sutra, you see, it is a chalk line. It tells you what to do with your heart, mind. And then the fifth one is a path that connects. And actually, it's very difficult to actually translate this last definition or last meaning of the word sutra. It's just like, you it's you people with long hair, you get a bun, right? You can tie into a bun, and then it's just like tying many buns together. So I said it's something that connects. So if you have or maybe when you do macrame, so you macrame, so you get many buns or many little balls there. So it's actually that thread or something actually connects everything. It's just like a path that connects all the Dharma and all the teachings of the Buddha, and it's so clear. Okay, and it's complete. No matter from what angle you look at it, it's complete. And this also actually carries the meaning that it actually connects to the Buddhahood that the Buddha has already attained, and to us as sentient beings who haven't actually attained that Buddhahood yet. It connects us with them. So that's why it's heart to heart. Our heart to the heart of the Buddha or the Bodhisattva. So in this sutra can be studied in many ways. It can be studied in very simple terms. It can be studied in a very detailed way. So I'm just giving you some example how it can be exemplified. It can be taught. Okay. So I'm giving you this example. It's so small, the words, but you can see by Venerable Yin of Dhamma Drum. And he divided the sutra into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. Okay. The first part is he very briefly introduced the title, but the first 4 lines actually it's being divided right here. The first 4 lines from Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva all the way to and is saved from all suffering and distress. He actually gave that as an introduction. So he introduced what the whole sutra is about in these 4 lines. And then from Shariputra is a person, is a disciple of the Buddha. Until the same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. That means the 4 aggregates. And he said, Venerable Yin said, this is the Buddha actually expounded his view on human existence with these 5 verses. And then from O Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness till the end is no realm of eyes and so forth. So forth, that means no realms of ears, no realms of nose, no realms of tongue, and no realms of body, until no realm of mind consciousness. That he said in here, that means it actually presents the view on the cosmology, the cosmic view of the Buddha's teachings. Cosmology. Okay? Sorry, because this is on a PDF file. I don't know how to work a doc file, how to copy and paste it. And when I paste it, it's all over the place. So I rather put it on a PDF file. It's just too crazy. I don't know whether it's because of a MacBook or it's just the the way that I'm ignorant with PowerPoint. So you just have to bear with all these the small fonts, okay? So, and then the next one is the next paragraph. He said, with nothing to attain. Where's this no weakness? Nothing to attain. I missed one. Yeah. Yeah, okay. With nothing to attain, the Bodhisattva depends on Prajna Paramita, the Bodhisattva state of existence. That means he tells these few lines actually tells you the mindset of the Bodhisattva. Okay, and then in the three worlds of Buddhas, all Buddhas depend on Prajna Paramita and attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. He said this is the attainment of Buddhahood, or the existence of Buddhahood, and what is the state of mind. And then the last one is, therefore, know the Prajna Paramita is a great transcendent mantra all the way to Gate Gate Bara Gate Barasam Gate Bodhisattva. Is conclusion of this whole mantra, of this whole sutra. This is how Venerable Yin Kit actually teach the Heart Sutra. But I will teach otherwise. I will teach in other aspect, which is this like this. Okay, so I will divide into, I think, 5. I think I divide into 9 sections. 9 sections. Yeah, the first section is we will look at the title and then the Prajna Paramita Hridaya Sutra, or the Heart Sutra in short. Actually, it presents itself as a roadmap for a happy life. So we look at this. If we practice, that means we're bound to become happy. Okay, so you can say, "Hey, so I study. I just know the title well, and I understand the title well, and I apply the title in my life. That's good enough." Yes, that's good enough. Really, I tell you, really, if you really can comprehend the title and understand the title thoroughly and apply it thoroughly, yes, because that's a roadmap. But of course, the details have to be actually understood too. Okay, so don't worry, I will send you this PDF file. Don't copy it. Just don't squint. Okay. So, and then the second paragraph is from Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva. When practicing deeply the Prajna Paramita, perceives that all the 5 skandhas are empty and is safe from all the suffering and distress. From here, I would look at it as the way of eradication of all sufferings. Okay. Then from the second paragraph, O Shariputra, form does not differ from emptiness. All the way, emptiness does not differ from form. That which is form is emptiness. That which is emptiness, form. The same is true of feelings, perceptions, impulses, consciousness. And this whole paragraph actually teaches us that all dharmas, that means all phenomenon, dharmas, that means phenomenon or existence, are empty. Wow, this is really something. Oh, empty? That means I don't exist. Oh, and nihilism, right? Is that right? And this is a very scary thought in the West. And nihilism. Yeah. So difficult to pronounce. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. So all phenomena are empty, but when we reach there, you will understand what really means by emptiness. And then the third paragraph, O Shariputra, all dharmas are marked with emptiness. They do not appear nor disappear. That's even more confusing. Are not tainted nor pure. Do not increase or decrease. You're kidding. You must be kidding. In here, do not increase or decrease. I look at my bank account, it definitely decreased. So this is the real truth of our existence. It doesn't talk about your bank account, but it does talk about your bank account. Okay, so that I look at it is it really tell you It tells us the real truth of our existence right here. Okay. And then the next paragraph is therefore in emptiness there's no form and no feelings, no perception, and so far and so forth, and no realm of eyes and no realm of ears and so forth until no realm of mind consciousness. That means in here it actually teaches us how we can actually transcend ourselves and transcend this attachment to this self. Whew. I tell you, you look forward to the Heart Sutra. You ask for this. It's very difficult. It's really a very difficult sutra. I tell you, after this, I don't have to teach anymore. We're finished. Yeah. Because we have everything there, right? So every time you come, we just recite the sutra and then we can go home. So, and then the last bit is no ignorance and also no extinction of it, and so forth until no old age and death, and also no extinction of them. You must be kidding. No extinction of them? That means actually the Buddha said how you can actually be liberated from samsara. Samsara, that means the cycles of birth and death. Yeah. And samsara doesn't stop. Doesn't stop, sorry, until you are totally liberated from all your taints, mental defilements, until that reservoir doesn't have even a drop of pollutants in there. Isn't that nice? A day to look forward to, right? And then the next paragraph is no suffering, no origination, no stopping, all the way to far apart from every perverted view of Bodhisattva. The Bodhisattva dwells in Nirvana or Nibbana. That means the state of calm, extreme, ultimate calm and bliss. And then in the three worlds, all Buddhas depend on Prajna Paramita and attain unsurpassed, complete, perfect enlightenment. That means this is a path to enlightenment attained by Buddhas in the past, the three worlds. That means the Buddha of the past, Buddhas of the future, and Buddha of the present. Past world, future world, and present world. Okay. So the last part is therefore know the Prajna Paramita is the great transcendent mantra, is the great bright mantra, all the way to Gade Gade Paragade Parasamgade Bodhisattva Swaha. That means it tells you this is a very, very auspicious path. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Good enough. Yeah. So we'll look at the roadmap next week. You have any questions? Better start reciting the Heart Sutra because you really need to recite more so that you connect with it. And also, when you listen to Dharma talk like this, especially when we talk about a particular sutra, think of it that you are Shariputra. You are Shariputra yourself. I'm not the Buddha, okay? But you are Shariputra. And listening to what the Buddha is telling you. If you actually put yourself in place in that particular place, then you will start to rethink differently. Rather than like you're sitting here, you just come here every Tuesday or every other Tuesday if you can, if you get a ride. And you say, oh, well, yeah, and I just go for a Dharma talk, You're just like an outsider, right? You're not the insider. I want you to become an insider so that you really connect heart to heart with the sutra and with the Buddha and with all the Bodhisattvas. So put yourself as if you are Shariputra, as if the Buddha is actually teaching you, as if you are listening to the words of the Buddha. It's a very different perspective if you start to do that. If you start to think like that. Okay? Try that. Okay. So there is this upcoming event, workday. Sorry, this is last week. I copied. I copy and paste, and you did not check. You see, I rely on my students. Sorry, it's gone. Okay, and Katina food offering is this Sunday. Okay, please speak with Laurie or Eva. It's supposed to be like last week. And I think, do I have a Chinese New Year thing here? No. Okay, there is a Chinese New Year thing, right? Sorry, I forgot to. Sorry, the Heart Sutra has taken much energy from for the Heart Sutra. But anyway, it's nice. It's a nice sutra to actually start to actually pay a little bit attention to. Okay. All right. Let us dedicate our merits. We bring our attention to this body. We feel in this physical existence, this mental existence, is constantly in this flux of changes. Nothing is permanently staying. With this understanding, with this experience, we allow a good thought to arise in our mind. For all the benefits that I gather tonight, may I share with all beings, human, non-human, visible, invisible, big or small, far or near. May they be free of enmity. May they be free of miseries. May they start to live in a world with brightness, warmth, experience compassionate love, and be truly happy and be peaceful. May we wish more and more people will encounter the words of the Buddha, study them, understand them, practice them, and liberate themselves because of the experience of the understanding. Liberate themselves from the entanglements, from all the miseries, all the sufferings, and deliver themselves and be truly happy and peaceful.